I have deliberately avoided this whole thing of the letter and Meghan's father, and mostly because, okay, let me give you some background about myself and Thomas Markle Sr. Years ago, when the wedding was in planning and everything, I thought it strange, not knowing that there was any bad blood or anything like that, before I realized that there was this like conspiracy of hatred and deception, this plot to prevent the wedding from taking place. Long before that was ever a thing, I knew when I looked at Thomas Markle that he just had loser written all over his smug, entitled, middle-aged, retired lighting director face. It was something about him that just rubbed me the wrong way, and I had no explanation for it. And so, this is a promise that I'll make to you. I'm telling you the truth when I say this. I said to not one, two, possibly three close friends, I don't want him to walk his daughter down the aisle because I think there's something strange about him. And I told a family member, I said, I don't think he should walk her down the aisle. There's something rather strange about him. It's just something about him I don't like. Now, I'm not some kind of like prophet or something like that. I was just doing some math in my head. If there was security provided for Doria and there was no security for Thomas, I didn't know why there was no security. I didn't know at that time that he had refused security. And then I realized that Harry, as far as we all know, never met Thomas Markle Sr. I thought that was strange. So I said, okay, he's living down in Mexico. He hasn't met his future son-in-law. Something is strange about that. There is something about him that is not adding up. Okay? And so based upon that, I said, no, I don't want him to walk her down the aisle because I just had this feeling of, I was overwhelmed with this feeling of doom and potential regret over the idea of him showing up. That was the only thing that bothered me about the wedding day. And mind you, I didn't even know of Meghan until, I want to say, Thanksgiving of 2017. That was the first time I had ever heard of her. You know, I didn't watch cable and all that stuff. So at that point, due to work, I just wasn't keeping up with any type of series. So I knew nothing about her. And then when I found out that, you know, she was this great person, then all of a sudden I found myself like enraptured with the whole idea of the wedding and this being the perfect bride for Harry. And enraptured, is that a word? Anyway, I was like really excited about everything, and all I wanted to do was learn more about her, and I did. And just like Harry, just like so many other people, instantly I was in love with Rachel Meghan Markle. Okay, and so the father, as we got closer to the wedding, I still, you know, and this is not based on the tabloids plotting against him or plotting against her. This was all a matter of fact. He hasn't met Harry, and we later on found out that he refused security. And of course, I don't want to disparage the people of Mexico. I don't want to disparage Mexico as a country. But your likelihood as an American of being possibly kidnapped there is pretty high. It's just the fact. And I think that's something that we mostly associate with Mexico City. Well, at the time, I didn't know where in Mexico Thomas Markle was living, but an outsider who appears to have money can get you in a lot of trouble. There are some people who don't even leave resorts because of that. Now, having said that, I just want you to know, full disclosure, I have been to Cancun. At no time did I feel unsafe, and at no time did I feel like I was being treated like an outsider. People were very kind and respectful, but this was just the notion I had about him being an American living in Mexico. I just thought it was something strange about that. So these are all, my ideas going through my head about the possibilities, and even thinking, okay, he as an American citizen, he may be targeted for kidnapping now that he's associated with someone who is marrying into the royal family. How come this guy doesn't have any type of security protection? I thought that was strange. And I figured if he didn't get protection, then obviously there's something wrong with his character based on his appearance, based on a lot of things. It was a calculation. Turns out I was 100% right. And my friends and my family members said, well, that's her father. They're going all emotional. That's her father. I said, no, there's something about him. There's something that's not right. I said, I would feel better how about if Barack Obama walks her down the aisle? I mean, I literally thought that would be the right thing to do, because it just seemed like he would be this father figure type of person who could rise to the occasion. And yeah, that would probably distract a lot from everything, but I was just trying to think of some alternative to having Thomas Markle there. So these are the thoughts that went through my mind. Again, not to disparage the people of Mexico, but I'm just saying what my thoughts were at that time. And so when it turns out that he didn't show up for the wedding, I was relieved, because I couldn't help but think that somehow we have just dodged a bullet. Now, I hated the whole distraction of him not being there. Now, this thing with the letter, okay, let's not stray too far, but this thing with the letter, so she wrote the letter to try to silence the rest of the royal family, I'm told, from pressuring Harry to do, and I'm going to just say it. Yes, it's incredibly awkward that this baggage, if you will, is being brought into the royal family. Not that they are not the ultimate set of misfits themselves, ordained by God. Let's not forget that. But misfits. The fact that we have this going into the marriage, I thought it was really unfortunate. At no point in time did I think, well, let's stop the marriage. But then we find out later on that what aggravated all of this was coming from inside of the house, per Dan Wootton. Dan Wootton said in his own words, essentially, I'm paraphrasing, the calls are coming from inside of the house. So who's doing it? Is it KP? Is it just William? Is it somebody from Clarence House? Is it all of the above? Is there some elements in Buckingham Palace? So aside from this lawsuit, which has led to an even greater vendetta from the Daily Mail or the Mail Sunday, whatever. And then, of course, there's the report from Bot Sentinel. And you got all of these trolls and derangers that have targeted the Duchess of Sussex. And even with the Royal Sussex channel, I'm like seeing all of these trolls that are just like popping up like we're playing a game of whack-a-mole. No sooner than you get rid of one, here comes another one. And nobody knows that better than the moderators that this is like something that is growing in popularity is to target the YouTube channels, and of course to even, I guess they're not doing so much on Twitter nowadays because they are have had the light flashed upon them, and so they're moving the attack someplace else. Now, I do have an Instagram account. I don't actually use it. I started the account and I posted like a couple things and hadn't thought about it since. And then of course there's the Facebook. I don't even bother with the Facebook. So you have that going on. This is incredibly stressful for me. I'm sure it's incredibly stressful for a lot of you all. I just want to watch the Sussexes Sussex. You know, let the Sussexes Sussex. That's what I'm saying. But unfortunately, we do have to fight these battles. And I guess everybody in some way, big or small, we have to be prepared to bring receipts and to tell the truth about exactly what's going on, even if it takes the grin off of our face for 5-10 minutes or a couple days. This is what we have to do. So I'm in it. I'm sure you guys are up to the task, and it's just what we have to do. And then, of course, as we do this, as we fight these battles, as we meet them eye to eye, word for word, then we have to contend with the fact that somewhere in the ranks, there may be a reporter. Now, a couple of you guys have accused Nathan of being a reporter because I asked him to interview me for the Royal Sussex channel because I thought it would be interesting to have someone who is not a squatty, who does not follow the Sussexes, ask me questions about why do I do exactly what I'm doing. To ask me questions about what it's like to support the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And a couple of squatties have turned it around and decided to cast him as being some kind of usurper or some type of villain, or even worse, a reporter. When I tell you that I trust him with my life, I mean exactly that. I trust him with my life. This is not somebody who just parachuted into the community and I guess found me at a coffee shop and decided to try to figure out how can I get in. That did not happen. That did not happen. Why would I travel on the road and go to a concert with a stranger? I'm not that important as far as the Sussex Squad is concerned that anybody would waste their time trying to have a conversation with me to expose what? I don't even know any of the other squatties. I only just met one the other day. I don't even know any. When I say squatties, I mean people who have a podcast or have a Twitter account. I met one person. This is why this is so out of hand. And so I have been avoiding the whole topic of the letter. And for a long time, I even avoided the whole topic of Thomas Markle, although on occasion I have decided to roast him. But I'll say it again. I trust Nathan with my life. I'm not going to tell you how long I've been knowing him or how I know him or where I know him from, because that will only that would only lead to more nonsense. And that is absolutely nonsense. He is not a reporter. And I was, you know, this happened like about a week or so ago, and I was totally sickened by the idea that someone would even say something like that. So when you guys say, Baron, well, how come you don't go live? Or Baron, how come you don't like collaborate with someone else? Because I don't want that. That's why. And so before I invite someone to share the microphone with me again, I have to really think about it. Do I want this person accused of being a reporter or being anti-Sussex? That's why. Because there's a lot of people who have I guess, taken the storyline a little bit too far. Most people, no, but a few of you, yes. And so when I think about it, I'm just like, this is why Tina has to cuss people out sometime. That's not really my thing, but I'm just saying, I understand it. This is why sometimes people get cussed out. So I'm releasing the frustration of that moment right now. But you guys, you're entitled to your opinions, but you're not entitled to the truth. The truth is the truth, and it doesn't belong to anyone exclusively. So the Duchess of Sussex has won the case, and the Daily Mail Sunday, the Daily Mail, they're trying to move the goalposts. They're trying to change the rules after the fact so that they can keep this whole sordid thing going, so that they can have the clickbait and the street credit amongst all the other tabloids that they are the ones that are stirring up the most trouble for the Duchess of Sussex. So, I guess this is going to be kind of a long video. The fight for Meghan's life, or Meghan Markle's life, the Duchess battles with tabloids and trolls, is about more than just her right to privacy. Or if you're from the UK, privacy. The Cut. This is from The Cut. Now, The Cut, I guess it's an online magazine. I'm not so familiar with it. I think I may have seen like a headline from them a couple times. On October 26th, a new report was released that details the way in which attacks made by Twitter accounts had fueled harassment and hate aimed at Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. According to the analytics service Bot Sentinel, these troll accounts were not bots, just highly coordinated 83 accounts with a potential reach of 17 million users were responsible for 70% of the negative and hateful content generated about the couple. The company CEO told BuzzFeed News that this anti-Meghan Twitter campaign is unlike anything he and his team had ever seen before. There's no motive, he said, comparing the anti-Meghan campaign to other disinformation and harassment campaigns on Twitter, such as the Stop the Steal movement to overturn the results of the 2020 U.S. presidential election, or the campaign to remove actor Amber Heard from the up-and-coming Aquaman sequel as a result of abuse allegations made against her by ex-boyfriend Johnny Depp. Are these people who hate her? That's the question. Are these people who hate her? Is it racism? That's another question. Are they trying to hurt Harry and Meghan's credibility? Your guess is as good as ours. The coordinated and likely well-funded campaign against Meghan is but one of many examples of the long-standing tradition of taking down black women for sport. For Meghan, whose legal case against the publisher of the Mail on Sunday continues this week, winning in court is important not only symbolically but practically, as it could explain protections for the rest of us. It's for that reason we should all brace ourselves for further attacks against not only her character, but her very existence. Now that sounds pretty ominous, but when you consider what they are saying here in The Cut, it's saying that up until the point of ending someone's life, that, and even beyond that, of course, because look at Princess Diana. Her character has been assassinated up until this very day. They are still trying to find ways to declare she was mentally unfit. They're doing like the whole psychological background for her family dynamic. They have figured out 1,001 ways to destroy her character post-mortem. And that's not going to end. And sadly enough, I think when William decided to confront the panorama video and the fact that it should never be shown again, he is helping them do exactly what they're setting out to do, and that is to deem her as mentally unfit and that she didn't know what she was doing, and even attempting to say that she was coerced into giving the interview. So this is yet another reason why it was a good thing that they left the UK. This gives them some protection. It's not complete protection, but it gives them some protection from that institution that consumes anybody that stands in their way. Anybody that they deem as a threat is consumed, and you're either reinterpreted as something unfit, or sometimes you just don't survive. So it says here, the battle was already won by Meghan in the UK courts. In February, a High Court judge ruled that the Mail on Sunday had invaded her privacy when it published correspondence she had written to her father. Now the paper has sought to appeal her victory and paint her as a calculating, manipulative, and even diabolical because she dared to try to save her from becoming fodder for their tabloid media. This is an attempt by the Daily Mail on Sunday to undo the right to privacy she has already won. All because they published a private letter she wrote to her father in August 2018 in which she begged him to stop speaking to the press, a letter she worried would be leaked anyway. So, okay. If I'm correct, I believe there was excerpts of the letter. It wasn't the full entire letter. I don't know that anybody aside from Thomas Markle and the Daily Mail on Sunday has actually seen the entire letter. I haven't seen it anywhere, and if you have, let me know, because I'd be curious to see it. But I have not seen it anywhere. And so when they say that this was, her privacy was not invaded because she plotted to write this letter so that she could manipulate the situation, yeah, I'm pretty sure when someone takes your passport, your car keys, when pretty much you're almost given the correct underwear to wear, of course you have to realize that anything that you say can and will leak to the press. Meghan is not a dum-dum. She's one of the most brilliant people in every room that she's ever walked into. And Harry knows that. And Harry was attracted to her because they are so like-minded in so many ways, including philanthropy, including the fact that Harry is a lot smarter, probably one of the more intelligent members of that family ever. And I guess for a long time he was told that he was second best, and maybe he believed that. But I think now they know better. Now they know better. So one of the smartest men in the room and one of the smartest women in the room have gotten together and started a family, and there is nothing that they can do to stop it. They tried, but there's nothing they can do to stop it. And if you haven't guessed by now, I am sitting here. I bet you this mug could probably hold about 16 ounces of coffee. This is one of those kind that you get when you're traveling and they have them at the gift shop. And even without the liquid in it, it weighs about a pound. That's what I'm holding right now. And by the way, I would suggest that you go to The Cut and find this article for yourself, because I'm certainly not doing much justice for it here. But by this reasoning, any expression of concern by women about being harmed means she cedes her protection from said harm, such as the distortion logic of sexism and racism that governs this case. It's one we should watch closely to see if the courts will uphold her victory or go to trial. Okay, so blah, 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 blah. This is the part I want to get to. The activities are not new and not novel. While some might believe that harassment and exploitation of famous black women is somehow less consequential by virtue of her fame, they create harmful consequences for all black women. In this case of social media, not only has trolling been emotionally and psychologically destructive for countless black women, it is financially lucrative for abusers who demonize and dehumanize us, and it has no regard for the toll on our mental health. The internet and the media companies that traffic in these stereotyping and whipping up negative sentiments toward women, especially women of color, drive massive amounts of engagements, which translate into big profits for the platform. I've spent the past decade researching and writing, it says here, I spent the past decade researching and writing about the harms that come to black women and girls from big tech companies that have been negligent in the design and management of their platforms. Both traditional media conglomerates and internet media companies draw users from the web of vile disregard for black women through the casual and constant use of dog whistles and entrenched stereotypes, hateful speech, and behavior toward black women in heinous and enduring practice that has grave consequences, not just for the rich and famous, but everyday black women who have lived, worked, and tried to thrive in the racist and misogynistic workplaces and communities whose hostility to our very existence is presently and routinely normalized. God, that's good. Now, again, I'm going to say, go and find this article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it was written by Sophia Amajo Noble. Okay? I haven't heard of her before, but I'm definitely going to commit that name to my mental Rolodex because, oh, this is just absolutely powerful, and I love the way that it's written. But she's speaking truth. She's speaking truth. And you know, this is really troubling that I can only say this again, as I've said so many times, and probably never on the Royal Sussex channel, but the internet was supposed to be the great equalizer. It was supposed to bring unfiltered information to the masses so that we might learn the truth. But just like in real life, in the virtual world, if you're able to yell the loudest or yell the most frequently, you are probably or more likely going to be successful in telling your story or just telling a lie. God, I like that. I should have wrote that down. So there's so much more to this, and I'm not going to share it with you. I'll try to remember to leave a link to The Cut, which is in the New York, and so it's The Cut, and it's in the New York, not the New Yorker, but in the New York is The Cut, and I'll try to leave a link for it on the community page. But guys, we have to sometimes take a step away from this type of thing. And so I have tried to use humor as a way to deal with some pretty heavy topics, as you guys know. And maybe some of you guys have been attracted to the channel because of the use of humor and parody that I have used to help the Sussexes tell their truth, compared to other channels that have used humor and parody to admonish and to lie and try to destroy the Sussexes and to totally do away with any credibility that they may have in the community of royal watchers. But the Sussex Squad, we're set apart from the typical royal watchers because unfortunately we have had to make a choice. We could either play along with all of the fanfare and pomp and circumstance and enjoy the parades and the balcony appearances, or we could stick to the Sussexes and help them navigate their way through the realities of what it is like to be in the royal family. Being in the royal family it really is a firm. That's the best way to describe it. It's like being in the firm. It's like being in a type of group where you're just not allowed to leave. And I'm trying to avoid saying a certain word because I don't want to, get my channel attacked by the the AI intelligence or whatever. But certain words you have to avoid. So we don't want to lose sponsors, do we? So just to reaffirm, I do what I do for the Sussexes on principle. And unfortunately, most of you guys will never really know me personally, will never really know my character where this is concerned. You only know of me through the Sussexes. But when I throw my support behind someone, they don't have to be right all the time. But in principle, if I'm in agreement with them and if I trust them like I trust the Sussexes, I'm going to have their backs regardless. I don't care that a person makes a mistake. And for a long time, I supported Hillary Clinton through periods of times that were really dark, during times when no matter what she said, nobody believed her, during times when she was doing things as a woman that a man could do, and that as a woman she was deemed as evil or manipulative. We have to speak out about this. We cannot allow this to keep happening to women because it's the easiest way to eliminate someone's popularity and to strip someone of their talent, because you can no longer see them as a viable human being. You see them as some evil entity. This is what happened to women when they use their intelligence and their talent. This is what happens. There's always someone who find it rather frightening that this person has popularity, that they are being seen and heard simultaneously, so we have to destroy her. We have to speak up for any woman that that's happening to. And even if it's another woman who's causing it, we have to speak up for all women so that these things can't keep happening. God did not give a woman a complex brain with the ability to organize, to become a scientist, a chef, whatever a woman wants to do, just so that someone else could come along and try to strip them of that because they dare to stand up and speak truth to power, to stand up and use their talents for the rest of the community. We have to stop this, and it's not going to end tomorrow. It's not likely to stop with the Duchess of Sussex, but as long as we can speak out and speak up on her behalf and on behalf of Doria, Harry, and of course, we still got the children to protect. We have the children to protect, and they are always going to need us to be there for them. And I'm definitely going to speak up whenever I have the opportunity. The only thing that I'm doing different now is that I have a channel where I'm sharing these thoughts with people that are not my co-workers, that are not my family, people who would kind of raise that ear up like the RCA dog, like, what in the world are you talking about? But the simple answer, principle. That's it. I'm only speaking on behalf of principle. And in this case, it happens to be on behalf of the Duchess of Sussex and, of course, Prince Harry. So anyway, that's it. I have bent your ear for Looks like about 35 minutes, so I probably will not do any editing for this video, but I said what I said. I had to get that off my chest. So leave some comments. I'm way behind in the comments. Hopefully I can spend the rest of the day going through the comments. I have so much to catch up on. But for those of you who have been part of the Royal Sussex channel early on, thank you again. Thank you, moderators. Thank you for those of you that have the memberships, and for those of you who have contributed to the Royal Sussex channel. Without you guys, I would not have had the ability to post videos while I was away from home, because I was able to upgrade to a better computer. So without you guys, none of that would have been possible. This is only possible because of the people that support this channel. And even if you're unable to support Royal Sussex financially, your comments are greatly appreciated. And of course, you know, I cannot even express in words how good it feels to know that this particular channel is available for everyone, including myself, because I need this as much as you do. I need this because I was just like you. I was this island in the middle of the sea, and I had certain things that I felt about the way Meghan was being treated, and of course the way Harry and Meghan were subject to all of this mistreatment. And it's not a conversation that you can have with everybody. So when people ask me about my channel, you know, you have a lot of explaining to do. And I think that Henry VIII mentioned that on her channel the other day, that she didn't tell everybody in her family about the channel because I guess she didn't want to have to explain it. And it is difficult to put into words when people, I guess, they see Meghan as privileged in some kind of way, that she doesn't need our help or our protection. But nothing could be further from the truth. Every woman needs that amount of protection when they are high-profile people. And in particular, women of color need that amount of protection. They need for someone to have their back. And when someone says, "Ugh, I just don't like her," you have to be that person who can somehow try to turn that around. Because otherwise, as I mentioned before, be careful the next time you're in a situation and without any reason or explanation, you look at someone, you say, "Ugh, it's something about her. I just don't like her." That's it for now. Please like, subscribe, share, donate, etc. If you would like to make a donation and you don't know how, to help support this channel, you can go to the comments section where you can find links to the Patreon, the PayPal, and the Cash App. Thanks for watching Royal Sussex.